Yeah, hello guys, it's your boy David again, and today, I want to first of all tell you all for all to thank you all for all the support you've been giving me, with the recent activities on my account. Even though I've not gotten up to uh 1,000 followers yet, TikTok approved my live feature, right? So right now I'm able to go on live, yeah. So I'm here on live, so all thanks to you for the activities and everything. And today, basically, uh, I don't know, maybe I'll invite a friend, or maybe I'll invite my fiancée. She has been in Belarus for a while now. Someone who has had some experiences in Belarus before to join us, and then we can tell you guys more about traveling to Belarus and life in Belarus. So first of all, I want to thank you all for making this possible. All right. Okay. So I'm in my kitchen right now. I'm trying to make dinner. I'm in Minsk. I live in Minsk, Belarus actually. So I'm trying to make dinner. So let's see if I can add my fiancée to the live so that she can join us, or maybe I can add her to the box. Just a minute. Okay, let me see if I can add her. Hey, Innocent, good evening. I can see you. Royal Son, welcome. And okay, okay. Okay, so yeah, let's just continue. Later on, I can try to add my fiancé. Okay. All right, so you're welcome to the live. I'm making rice, as you can see. I'm trying to cook rice. I do my best to cook a little bit, but sometimes it's not very sweet. But I try to manage myself. Hope you're doing fine, man. Innocent, yeah, man, I'm doing great. Thank you for joining the live. I'm trying to make something to eat tonight. Man must eat now. All right, so let me try to wash the rice a little bit. Okay, I'll turn the camera now. All right. So basically, how is life in Belarus? When I made the last question about life in Belarus in general, a lot of people reacted positively to it. So I was motivated to tell them more about it. Belarus is actually a topic a lot of people don't talk about, but I think there is a need for someone to talk about these things. So that's why I, started the video about Belarus and talking about Belarus in general. So basically, for you to come to Belarus, you need to apply for a visa, right? Anyways, while I'm on the live and talking to you, I'll also try to look at the comment section to see your question, and I'll try to respond to your questions as much as I can. Okay, so do well to drop your questions and I'll look at it and reply to it. Okay, so basically, for you to come to Belarus, you need a visa. Well, this visa could be a student visa. Could be a student visa, it could be a work visa, right? And it could also be a private visa, right? So you need to get one of these visas for you to come to Belarus. And if you have a Belarusian embassy in your home country, you need to apply for a visa. You need to get a visa before. Hi Kwame, hi, I can see you. So you need to apply for a visa from your home country in the Belarusian embassy for you to be able to travel to the country. But on the other hand, if you don't have the Belarus embassy in your home country, then you can get a visa on arrival at the Minsk National Airport here in Belarus, right? So basically that's how it works, and I'm going to try my best to talk about the different kinds of visas that you can get for you to come to Belarus. All right, just a minute. Okay, so let's start with the student visa. So student visas, the most famous kind of student visas a lot of students use to come to Belarus is the language program. You know, this language program is not very expensive. Here in Belarus, they speak Russian. They speak Russian. So, okay. Hey, honey, I can see the heart you sent me. Much love. Thank you so much. That's my fiancée, Gina. Thank you for joining us on the live, baby. All right. So, basically, the student visa for the language program is not very expensive. For as low as some schools can even give you the language program 8 months for as low as $500. Yeah, as low as that. And some schools will give you this language program for 1 year within the range of $1,000 or $800, depending on the school you're applying to. So once you get this language program, you can get your student visa with this, because the school is going to take your admission letter to the immigration center, and then the immigration center will prepare your study invitation letter, right? Okay, so just keep your questions coming in. I'll try to reply to them as much as I can, okay? Yeah, so once your invitation letter, your study invitation letter is gotten from the immigration center, the school is going to send this invitation letter down to you in your home country, right? So once you receive this invitation letter, you can take it alongside with your other documents, your other supporting documents, like your birth certificate, also your school certificate if you've attended high school before, or your secondary school certificate, or if you have a bachelor degree before from your country, or if you have ND or HND, depending on the study visa. Okay, so Kwame asked, is there age limit to study in Belarus? Okay, yeah, sometimes they ask, for example, if you're aged, they ask you for, let's say you graduated from secondary school about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they're going to ask you a question during the interview about your study gap, like what have you been doing within this period, okay? So if you can just prove it, probably you'll be working or you're learning a handwork or a skill, you can prove it and you're good to go, okay? Yeah, so that's for you, Kwame. So once you get this study invitation letter, you're going to get your health result, your health certificate proving that you're okay, and also you're going to get a police character certificate from your home country showing that you don't have any criminal record in your home country, yeah? And then once you get all of that, and also your bank statement, you can prove this or proof of funding by putting money in your account, or you can get a sponsorship letter. Maybe your parent or your uncle or someone else that owns a company that wants to sponsor your education will just give you the sponsorship letter and a statement of account, and with that you're qualified to go and apply for your student visa, right? Then the other type of visa I want to talk about is the work visa, right? The work visa, generally how this work is you're going to get an employment offer, like a sponsorship letter. So the company is going to give you a sponsorship letter. They're going to employ you, and after you get this employment letter is going to be sent down to you like an official work contract. So first of all, the company that is hiring you is going to take your passport, your translated passport, of course, because here in Belarus we speak Russian, right? Lina, all right, thanks for joining. Okay, so here in Belarus we speak Russian. So basically, your passport and your certificates, they're going to be translated into the Russian language and notarized actually. And then the school will take this notarized copy and translated copy to the, the company that is hiring you is going to take this notarized copy of your passport with your official work contract. They'll take it to the the immigration center to process your work permit, right? Once your work permit is, processed, they will take it to the foreign affairs to, authenticate and legalize these documents. So these are the documents you're going to be needing to apply for your work visa. So once you receive this document, you're going to be needing because you're getting this sponsorship letter from the company, you don't need a proof of funding anymore. You're just going to take your passport and your offer letter, like the employment letter, the sponsorship letter from the company, to the embassy, and then you can apply for your visa. And okay, hey baby, could you tell us about the security in Belarus? Okay, I'll come to that shortly. Let me talk about the third kind of visa, which is the private invitation visa. This kind of private invitation visa, if you have a friend that holds a permanent residency in the country, or if you know someone like a citizen that's in the country, they can take their passport and also your translated passport, notarized passport, and take it to the immigration center to apply for an invitation letter for you, a private invitation, right? So they're going to send this private invitation to you, the original, and then you're going to take it to the embassy with your passport, police character certificate, and all the required documents, your field visa application form, and then you can go to the embassy for your interview. So at the embassy, basically, for your visa interview, we have the standard visa and also the express visa, right? So the standard visa, you get it within 5 working days. Yeah, 5 working days actually. And then the express, you get it within 24 hours after you submit your visa application. So once you make this payment, they're going to ask you a few questions about yourself, why you want to go to Belarus, what you're going to do in Belarus, So if you attend to these questions properly, then you can get your visa, and then you can travel down to Belarus to start working or studying, depending on the kind of visa that you got. So my fiancée Dina said, could you tell us about the security in Belarus? Okay, so Belarus is a very secured country, actually, like a very, very secured country. Since I came to this country, I think this is my 3rd year actually. It's my 3rd year that I've been in this country, and since I came here, I've not had any security challenge. I've not even heard for once that there was a robbery or anything of such in the country, right? In this country, you can walk outside freely in the middle of the night, even 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., and you be secure. Like, you don't have to be scared of anything, like anything is gonna happen. That's how safe and secured the country is, right? So as I'm attending to the questions, if you have any question, just drop it in the comment section and I'll attend to your question. Okay, so the country is very, very secured. I've not had any security challenges here since I came. No form of robbery. I've not witnessed. I've not even heard of it. You know, I've been walking on the street, and not for once have I seen people fighting on the street. Like, come on, for 3 years now, I've not witnessed any of such. Yeah. So, Kwame said Ghana is visa on arrival, so their interview on arrival. Yeah, for Ghanaian citizens, if you get all the requirements, basically a copy of your document is going to be dropped at the airport, right? The Minsk National Airport, right? So a copy of your document is going to be dropped there pending when you arrive. So you're just going to buy your flight ticket and you're going to fly to Belarus with your original copies, all your supporting documents. And once you get to the airport, you're just going to fill in your visa application form, right? And then they're going to ask you a few questions, right? Like what you're coming to do in the country. So once you do all of that, they'll just stamp your passport, give you your visa, and you're free to go into the country. So that's that for Kwame. And King. King said, how about job too? Yeah, basically, there's a general website for job application, right? For job application, and the website is called rabota.by. Rabota.by, rabota.by. So that's the general and official website for job application in this country. So all you have to do is just go to this website and fill in your details, your work in experience and everything, right? And then you can start applying to this job. There are so many jobs available there. So Innocent said, how much will it cost you? So it's dependent on the kind of visa you're applying for, right? So for the standard visa application, it costs, you're going to pay a visa fee of 60 euros at the embassy. And if it is the express, you're just going to pay 120 euros, right? Innocent again, how much will it cost to move over there from Nigeria? Yeah, so I just mentioned that, Innocent. So it is basically dependent on the type of visa you applied for. Like I mentioned, we have the study visa, the private invitation, and also we have work visa. So the price varies. And King, with student visa, and how much is the minimum salary, please? Okay, so King, to answer your question, when I came here back in 2022, it was not possible for students to work. It was not possible for students to work when I came here in 2022, but thank God to the new improvement and everything with the new changes, students can work legally now, but just that you cannot work full time. You know, you cannot work full time because there are times that you need to go for classes, right? So you can only work part time. You cannot work full time, and the average salary, minimum salary. Okay, so different countries like Ghana, Nigeria, they all have their minimum wage. For Nigeria, I think when I left, the minimum wage was around 30,000 naira. I heard they have increased it. Is it 70 now? I don't know if they have implemented it. But for here, the minimum wage here is around $200, right? And this is because the cost of living is very, very cheap. But minimum salary, depending on the kind of job that you're doing, they have menial jobs like restaurant, factory, construction jobs, cleaning. All these menial jobs you can earn within the range of $400 to $600, right? So these are the kind of menial jobs that you can get. And if you get a good job, a good paying job with all these international companies like customer support jobs, lead generation, IT, you can earn from around $800 to $1,500 per month. So if that answers your questions. Uh, yeah, King. All right. My baby just asked another question again. Specify your questions so your questions are answered correctly. Oh, babe, thank you for that note. All right, so I don't know if I've attended to the questions. So if you have any other question, you can do well to let me know in the comment section, and I'll do my best to attend to it. So yeah, so let's continue with the visa application processes. Okay, so once you get your visa from the airport, so once you get your visa from the embassy, yeah, from the Belarusian embassy in your home country, the next thing is to buy your flight ticket. So how do you buy your flight ticket, and how much would it cost you to buy your flight ticket? So let's look at that. So generally it was possible for you to get innocent bro. I'm really enjoying your live stream. You're doing a great job. Oh, thanks, bro. Actually, this is the first time I'm doing it. I don't really know how this thing works. I'm just trying my best to keep it cool. I've not even gotten up to 300 followers here, but TikTok just gave me the notification that I can go on live now. And it's okay. Let's give it a shot so that I can interact with my people. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. But I think with time, we're going to improve on the live and it will get much more better. I try to invite some people who are in Belarus or who have been in Belarus before so that they can share more light as co-hosts. But I think I've not unlocked that feature yet. But as soon as it is unlocked, I'll try to let more people on the live so that we can interact and catch up. Yeah, so that's that. So once you get your visa and you're ready to move, the next thing is to go and pay for your flight ticket. Yeah, when you are applying for the visa, actually, when you're applying for the visa, you don't necessarily need to pay for your flight ticket at that moment. You can just book your reservation ticket and print it out. It will be enough for you to apply for your visa, to get your visa. So when you get your visa, then you can proceed to buy or pay for the flight ticket, right? So how do you book your flight ticket? All right, so before now, most of the airlines were flying directly to Belarus. Turkish airline was also flying to Belarus, but right now it is not possible for these airlines. Most of them cannot fly directly to Belarus anymore. So you have to use a connecting flight, right? So and it's actually because of the Russian and Ukraine war. So because we are in the same, we're sharing borders and all of that. So some airlines couldn't fly through the normal routes because of the war and all of that. So Turkish Airlines stopped coming here directly. But when I came here in 2022, I came here in 2022, I actually used Turkish Airline, but I didn't fly directly to Belarus. And the reason was because Turkish Airline was no longer flying directly to Belarus. So I had to use a connecting flight. And the connecting flight I used was Belavia. So Belavia is actually a Belarusian airline. Belavia is actually a Belarusian airline. And Belavia is actually a Belarusian airline. So they connect other flights. So in my own case, Turkish airline took me from Abuja, Nigeria to Istanbul, Turkey, right? And then I switched from Turkish airline to Belavia, and then I flew from Istanbul in Turkey to Minsk, Belarus. So because these flights are not, flying directly, that I have to use a connecting flight. I had a challenge when I was traveling. So what happened was, when I was buying my flight ticket at Turkish Airline, the lady there told me that, okay, since Turkish Airline is not flying directly to Belarus, I need to get a transit visa, like a Turkish transit visa, because I need to first of all drop in Turkey and then within the same airport and then move to where I'm going to board Belavia to Belarus. And it wasn't making sense. But anyway, since I wanted to travel, I gave it a try. I applied for Turkish transit visa. Uh, Unfortunately, my Turkish transit visa was denied, so I couldn't use the visa I couldn't get the visa to transit in Turkey. But until I think about 15 days before the expiration of my visa, I went to the airport to make more inquiries. I went to fly Emirates to Emirates Airline to check if I can, transit through Dubai without getting a Dubai transit visa. And they said it was possible. And then I came across Turkish Airline there at the airport in Abuja then, and I went there. Fortunately for me, the boss was there that day. So I asked him and he said, no, that I can actually fly through Turkish Airline. But since they're not going directly to uh, Belarus and I don't have the Turkish transit visa, they are just going to pack my bag, and send it directly to Belarus. What that means is that I won't be able to get hold of my bag at the airport in Istanbul. So I said, no problem. So they packed my stuff, sent it directly to Belarus, while I just switched in the airport from Turkish Airline to Belavia, and that was how I came here. So right now, I don't think that route is possible right now. So the airline that you can possibly use right now, you can use Fly Dubai. Fly Dubai. So basically, if you're coming from Nigeria, you can book your ticket with Fly Dubai. I'm not advertising them, I'm just making suggestions. You can check for other airlines too. So once you buy this ticket, well, before they can board you at the airport, you need a return ticket. You cannot just book a one-way ticket. You have to book a round trip, right? Even though you are not coming back immediately, you have to book round trip. And this round trip, when you get into the country, you can apply for a refund for the return ticket, and it's going to be refunded into your account. That was what I did actually. So once you buy this ticket, you're going to fly from Nigeria using Ethiopia Airlines, and then you're going to drop at Adidas airport in Ethiopia, and then you're going to fly from Ethiopia to Dubai, and then from Dubai International Airport you're going to fly with Fly Dubai Airlines from Addis Baba. Thank you very much, babe. Addis Baba airline in Ethiopia. So you're going to fly from Dubai down to Minsk National Airport in Belarus using Fly Dubai. Yeah, so that's how to go about your flight to book it right now. And once you're in the country, you can settle in, get an accommodation, do your registration and start your life in general. Yeah, so if you have any question, you can just do to let me know in the comment section and we'll continue. Anyways, my fiancée is around. Yeah, in case you don't know, she's around. I'm trying to make something very quick for her. She came from Berlin, Germany, to visit me here in Belarus. So, and I think I tried to add her as a co-host, but since it's not connecting, maybe she can actually join us with my phone so that she can tell you one or two things about Belarus. Hey babe, can you hear me? I know you're on live. Can you join us here? So she can tell you one or two things about Belarus. Yeah, so basically that's that. Once you get your visa, you can fly into the country and then you can start living here without any problem. Come on, hey bro, come on. How you doing? I can see you. Biniam test falling. Thanks for joining the live. So if you have any question, you can do it to drop it in the comment section, and I'll try my best to attend to it. So once you are in the country, if you used a student visa, you just go into your school, register, check into the hostel if you want to stay in the hostel, or get your apartment, and you can start your classes. Get your SIM card, you can start your classes. But if you came in with the work visa, you need to start working as soon as possible, as soon as you get into the country. So Kwame asked, what document needed for private invitation? All right, so for the private invitation, basically what you need is the invitation letter. You're just going to send your passport down to the person who is getting the invitation for you, and the person is going to translate this passport and then take it to the immigration center, and they're going to prepare your invitation letter. And once the invitation letter is ready, the person will send it back to you in your home country, and you just need your police character certificate. You need to fill the visa application form. You need your bank statement, and also your insurance. So you just need to get your insurance, and then and you're good to go. So basically, those are the documents that you need to apply for. I think it's not that feature has not been.
We'll try to fix it.
All right, so those are the documents that you need, Kwame, to apply for your private invitation. Okay. Do we have any other question? Let me check. Emmanuel Jr. Glad I have finally catch up with you online. Oh, Emmanuel, I'm happy to have you here. Okay, so Emmanuel said, I need a student visa invitation. All the school asked me to get that through an agency. Please
help me. Like that.
Please help me. Okay, Emmanuel. All right, basically how student invitation is done here is, for you to get an invitation letter here, actually you need to apply through an agent, right? It is not possible to get this invitation letter by yourself. Well, I don't know, it's quite unfortunate, but you have to apply through an agent, because when you come into the country, the schools, they want someone to be responsible. Like, they want someone to be responsible for your stay here, activities and everything, right? So you have to get someone to submit this letter for you, okay? And they'll get your student invitation, and then they'll send it down to you. So can you help me? Well, you can send me a DM, and then we can talk more about that, okay? He said, I will be glad if you can do that for me. Yeah, just send me a DM, Emmanuel, and we'll talk more about it, okay? And here, my baby is here. I told you guys that my fiancée came from Berlin, Germany, to visit me. So she's here with me, and I don't know if you guys can see that on her ring, on her finger. I engaged her recently, and by the grace of God, we are going to be getting married. Okay, Emmanuel, thanks for your message. I'm going to respond to you after the live session, okay? So, my fiancé is here, and hey, babe.
Hi.
You want to say something to them?
Do you want to ask me a question regarding...
Okay, so, by the way, let's get to know you. What's your name?
My name is Gina.
Alright, Gina. Okay, guys, in case you're live with us and you have any question for her, just drop it in the comment section, and she'll do it to attend to your question too, okay? So, beautiful. Oh, Emmanuel, thank you. Alright, so, babe. So, where are you living currently?
Berlin. I live in Germany. Berlin, Germany.
So, what are you still doing here in Belarus?
Because of this man.
So guys, I brought her back to Belarus to visit, so she came to visit. All right, so babe, can you tell us how long did you live in Belarus?
10 years.
10 years. Wow. So what were you
But
doing?
this year made it practically 11 years,
11
even though I'm not
years.
living here currently. Yeah.
11 years. Okay, so what did you how did you get into the country? How did you get to Belarus?
I came in with a student visa.
Okay.
Yes, you can just leave it for a while.
Okay.
I came in the student visa and I got a visa to study medicine at one of the cities here in Belarus, Vitebsk to be precise.
Vitebsk, okay.
Yeah. So I did a 6 years medical program.
Oh, so you're a medical doctor, huh?
Yeah. I know I probably do not look it on my profile, but yeah, I am.
Alright, so do you still remember your visa application process when you did it?
It's been a while. It's been years. So I know I went to Abuja.
Okay.
I know I notarized and legalized my documents. I did what's it called? The medicals.
Yeah, medical test.
You have to undergo medicals, which is very important.
Okay.
And I got, a date for my interview, and it's been a while, so I can't give it but I can talk about Belarus if you ask me questions regarding Belarus, but
okay, so
it's been a
guys,
while.
like you heard her, she has been in Belarus for about 11 years now, so she knows a whole lot of things about Belarus more than I do, because I've just been here for 3 years. I'm still learning about the country. So if you have any question about Belarus, you can do well to drop it in the comment section and she'll attend to it. Okay, so babe, can you tell us a bit about university life in Belarus?
Well,
as a student? Yeah.
it depends because I studied in Vitebsk.
Okay.
And it's pretty strict. It's not, it's not the usual compared to Minsk and probably other cities. And, it's medicine. You have to be very serious.
Okay, so Emmanuel said, I never thought she's a Nigerian. Or more, Belarus don't change her. Fantastic. Okay, so Emmanuel.
I'm actually Nigerian and Ghanaian.
Oh, so she's half.
I'm both.
Yeah, she's half Nigerian, half Ghanaian. Her mom is from Ghana and her dad is from Nigeria. Yeah. Okay. And Ange said, I learned the same visa on arrival to Ghana. Okay, yeah. For Ghanaians, you can get a visa on arrival since there is no Belarusian embassy in Ghana. But alternatively, if you want to get your visa on your passport before you travel, you can go to the Belarusian embassy in Abuja, Nigeria, to get your visa before traveling. But if you don't want to do that, yeah, you can just board directly and then come down to Belarus and you fill the visa application form at the airport, and then you get your visa, right? So that's how it is for Ghana and for other countries that don't have the Belarusian embassy. Okay? So yeah, baby, you're telling us about student life.
Yeah, like I was saying, I was studying medicine, and it's something that you have to take seriously. My school does not joke, it was pretty strict, and I was a very serious student too, so I didn't have time to, and back then we could only study and not work.
Yeah.
Right? So I did mainly studying, and when I finished studying, I applied for my permanent residency and I got a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So before we fast forward to your permanent residency and getting your job.
Yeah.
So hello, B at B, A1 at B at B. Hello. Thanks for joining us. All right. So before we get to the work and all of that, and okay. Angie again said, and sir, I wanted to ask the visa on arrival, is it true? So we can also apply. Yeah, if you're from Ghana, it is true. You can get your visa on arrival, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is true. Alright, so babe, before we fast forward to your PR,
Yeah.
okay, so having lived in Belarus for 11 years, what can you say about the weather?
Well, when I moved to Belarus for the first time, the weather was pretty harsh for me.
Okay.
You know, judging from the fact that I was coming from Nigeria, and Nigeria is, you know, it's a hot country.
Mhm.
We have the rainy season, dry season. It's nothing compared to Belarus. In Belarus, we have extreme weather conditions. You
Alright,
have
babe, I think we got some question. Just it's a location to play ball. I beg. Okay. All right. So there are so many locations to play ball here in Belarus. They have so many. They have so many stadiums, right? If you check my profile, you see a football match that I captured and I posted on my profile. It was a match between Comoros and Nigeria, so you can actually watch it. And there are so many places and stadiums to play football here. Okay, and B at B said, I plan to move to Belarus as a student. What is your perspective about it, sir? Okay, so we have someone here with us who studied medicine and surgery here, so I think she can tell you more about that. Babe, what do you think is, because actually I didn't come here on a study visa, I came here on a private invitation, so I didn't study here. I did my university back in Nigeria before I traveled. So babe, what can you tell him about the perspective?
For studying in Belarus, it's pretty cheap compared to, you know, other European countries. Well, most European countries, and also if you compare it to the UK, to the US, and to Canada, it's pretty cheap. Studies here are pretty cheap, you know, and you pay, I think yearly, per. It's been a while. It's been a while, but it's pretty. It depends on the university though. For like I said, for my university back then, I don't know about now. It was pretty strict. It was pretty strict. You need to, you know, focus. If you don't pass, you get expelled.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's serious.
And I studied medicine, so probably that's why.
Yeah, so you have to be very, very serious. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I don't know if that answered your question. So, if you're coming here to study, you have to be serious, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like I said, it depends on the university, and also depends on
The kind of program you're
the
studying.
kind of program.
Actually, yeah.
If it's just a casual program, you know, a normal program, it's
Yeah.
fine.
All right. So, Kwame, so what happened if you failed your medical? Are they deporting you back to your home country? Student visa.
Well, you have to undergo your medicals in
your country,
Nigeria.
yeah,
not
before you even get the visa.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
it's part of the requirements.
Yeah, it's part of the visa application requirement. So first of all, you have to get the medical certificate and present it to the embassy
Yeah,
before you get your visa. Okay.
yeah.
All right, BLB, are you from UK? You sound like them. Are you? I don't sound like. Oh, probably my baby. You sound like you're from UK. You want to give them a UK accent?
Don't mind me.
All right, actually, we are not from the UK. I'm from Nigeria, and she is half Nigerian, half Ghanaian. Her mom is Ghanaian, and her dad is Nigerian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's no more question. Well, if you have a question, you can drop it in the comment section while we continue with the chat about Belarus. All right. So you're talking.
Asked me about.
BNB. So we are all Nigerian. Yeah, of course.
I think he said something about so visa on arrival. When you arrive Belarus airport and you failed for medical, what's the solution? I think you have to. I think even if it's visa on arrival, you still need to undergo your medicals, and you have to be cleared from your country. I think before you can get here in the first place.
Yeah, you have to be cleared from your country before you fly. Actually, so you have to meet these requirements.
It's not like a big deal. It's just the HIV test, the ECG. Is it ECG X-ray? You know, some blood tests and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's actually a requirement that you need to pass. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So baby, you're telling us about the weather. So how is the weather? You know.
Like I was saying, we have extreme weather conditions. Pretty hot, extremely cold.
Mm-hmm.
In winter, it gets really cold, and in summer, Oh, boy,
It gets really hot,
it
yeah.
gets really hot. Like hot in the sense that it can. I don't know. For me, it feels as though my skin is, peeling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And
that's
for
the
me,
feeling.
I get some itch, yeah, like burning, itching sensation, like
Because of how hot the weather
because
is.
of how hot and low humidity actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, so the weather can be this, it can be nice, sometimes it can be
Very cold.
very cold, like
Especially you have to, cover up. You have to get a good jacket. We call it kutka here.
that's the Russian name because
Yeah.
here in Belarus, the official language.
You have
is
to
Russian.
wear like double pants, something inner, like inner wears before you put on your actual.
Actual dresses.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that about the weather. Okay, baby. So what can you say about the food here in Belarus? Is it
Ooh.
expensive? Is it
It's
cheap?
pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. In fact, it's very cheap compared to Berlin, Germany. It's pretty cheap. You can survive $100 per month.
You can see.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
cheap.
you're going to buy a whole lot of foodstuffs that will
Yeah.
keep you throughout the month for just.
Except
it
you're
was
like me.
$100.
Sometimes that wants to eat in a restaurant, and buy like extras here and there. But it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, but if you're not a restaurant type, I think with $100 you're good to go with your foodstuffs. Cook your stuffs at home and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, which other question? Okay, how about
About what?
life in Belarus? Like the citizens in Belarus. How do they interact with foreigners?
Well, I'll keep it real. I'll keep it real. I don't know what to say. In every country you have the good ones and you have the bad ones.
Yeah.
And, you have the nice ones and you have the terrible ones. I have met all shades. All shades, the good ones, the bad ones, terrible ones, I've met all shades. So I can say that so far they have good people too,
Okay.
as much as they have bad people as well. Like when I mean bad people, I mean, just people that do not like you.
Well, I think it is the same in every country,
Yeah.
Any country at all you go, even back home in our country, Nigeria.
Yeah,
Ghana,
not everybody's gonna like you though.
Yeah,
So,
they have the good people, they have the bad people, so it's like that everywhere. Alright, so what can you say about the kind of lecture they give you, like their education here? Is it
it was pretty good. It was pretty good. We
Like,
had classes.
talking about standard, like educational
It
standard?
was really good. It was really good. It was good. Though back then, most of the teachers or lecturers could not speak English, right? So they had to struggle to interact with students. But now it's different because a lot of them now are taking English lessons and can actually speak English.
Sure.
And so
also I think there's also a language program for students that are coming in.
yeah, you can do the 1 year PATFAC, we call it PATFAC.
Okay.
1 year Russian program, or you can do it while studying, depending. I did mine while studying, right? So I didn't have to do like 1 year before starting medical school.
So you're doing the language program simultaneously with
Yeah,
the medical program.
yeah.
That's great. Okay, so now after study, what next? You spoke about your permanent residency. So
Yeah,
you have a permanent residency here in Belarus.
yeah.
What are the requirements? Like, what requirement do you need to make before you apply for this?
Well, you should have lived in Belarus for I think 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
It was 7 years then when I came, but they changed the rule when I was finishing medical school. When I finished medical school, so
Okay.
they changed it to 5 years. You should have lived in Belarus for at least 5 years. Yeah, I think that's mainly
Okay.
one of the major requirements. Yeah. I got my what's it called? My police character certificate from Nigeria.
Okay.
Those are the documents that I got, right, to apply for PR here.
Okay.
And firstly, when you're applying for PR, that's permanent residency, they give you initially 2 years,
Okay.
and then you get the 10 years. So I have the 10 years now.
I have the 2 years.
He has
now.
2 years. So yeah. So.
Alright, so basically before you get this permanent residency, they also check your records.
Yeah, you have to have lived in Belarus without any criminal records. I didn't break no rules.
Yeah,
So.
and here in Belarus, they have your like everything about you in the system.
Yeah.
If they just enter your details, if you've been arrested before, if you've fought before, like every single thing, if you've missed out your registration before, or you did your registration late, or you lived in the country without the registration, everything is in the system.
Yeah.
So once they just pull it up, they're going to see all the records.
Oh yeah, I also forgot to add, you would need to get a permanent registration. So you need to look for someone that's going to give you a prapiska. We call it prapiska, right?
So to be able to apply for permanent residency,
And it could be where you're living. It could also be in a different city, but you'll be paying monthly for that place. You're not going to be living there, but you pay monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of how much you pay for this registration?
Well, it depends. Some people charge $400 a year.
Okay.
And you can give them $400 like
one time.
Right? Or you can pay monthly.
So you just divide the $400 by 12.
By 12, and pay monthly. Yeah.
Okay.
Some pay more than $400, you know, but yeah, it's not bad.
All right, so that's that. Once you get your permanent residency, you're a free man, a free woman. You don't need to, struggle about registration or if they're going to send you back or whatever. I think we got a question.
Please, I'm trying to apply for a job, but after registration, the website asking for mobile number. Sorry.
Okay.
You mean Rabota?
Yeah, rabota.by, right? Because here in Belarus, there's a general website for job application, which is rabota.by, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he said yes. All right, so
you should have a Belarusian number, right?
Yeah, you need a Belarusian phone number.
So you need to attach it.
Yeah, to be able to receive the code. But also there's an option for email address.
Okay, to sign up with email.
Yeah, so you can try to sign up with your email address, okay? If that answers your question, Sammy Smart, okay? I hope that answers your question, Sammy. All right, so after you've gotten your permanent residency, you are free to live in the country. And babe, can you tell us some of the benefits of having a PR here in Belarus?
Well,
because you've had yours for a while, so what are some of the benefits?
For me, I would say the free medicals.
Okay. So
that's number one for me.
Okay.
Before you would pay, to see a general physician, to carry out some tests. But with a PR, that kind of takes away, all of those expenses. Not like you're not going to pay. That it depends on the severity of the issue, right?
Okay.
If you are undergoing surgery or something really serious, then probably you need to pay. Maybe not the full amount.
No,
part of it, right? Yeah. But that's one of the major things for me for the PR. Okay. And the fact that I can always come in and leave.
Anytime.
I do not need a visa.
You don't need a visa to travel.
Yeah. And since there is an agreement with Russia, I can travel to Russia. I don't need a visa for it too.
Yeah, that's another recent development because of the bilateral visa agreement between Belarus and Russia. If you hold a Belarusian visa, you can travel freely to Russia without any restriction. And if you hold a Russian visa, you can also travel to Belarus freely without any restrictions. Okay.
Yeah.
So babe, let's talk about jobs, because in my recent videos, some people were interested on how to get jobs here in Belarus, and I spoke about it. But also in the comment section, a lot of people, I think those who are here or those who were here before, they were complaining about that. So can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with jobs?
Well, like I said, I lived 10 years,
Yeah.
okay, 11 years now.
Yeah.
It, if you want to compare to, you know, other countries, it's not easy to get jobs anywhere in the world. Let's be very realistic. Be it UK, be it Canada, be it anywhere, you need to put in effort to get jobs, right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for white collar jobs, sitting in an office, you have to send out applications, right? Multiple applications, not just one, not just two, not just three, multiple applications, right? Which, and well, for me, I got a job. I worked in 3 companies before I left, right? I worked in 3 companies, and trust me, I didn't want to do the menial jobs, so I was applying repeatedly. And you will get some rejections, you also get some interviews, and you can decide if the company meets whatever you want, the standard that you want, and you can go with it. Jobs are they're not easy to find anywhere. Let's be realistic. At least let's put it out there. But you find jobs, definitely.
Yes, we got a questions from Ange. So if you don't have residence permit, you can travel to Russia. Oh,
You can go on a visa.
if you have a visa, you can travel to Russia.
Yeah.
But if you are a student visa, you need to apply to your school that you want to travel to Russia, right? And they're going to give you an approval for you to be able
Please
to travel.
make sure that you're putting all informations correctly.
Okay, someone
Into
said it's
email.
not working. So
Yeah.
you should have tried the email, not working.
Wait, did you use the phone number too? And please make sure to remove the 0 in front, right?
Yeah. You
And
try,
just put the
okay.
country code.
So, Emmanuel, if you can hear us, when you tried with the email, which error did you get?
What error message
Yeah.
is that?
So that we can see how to navigate that.
Mhm.
Alright, so with your visa, if you don't have a permanent residency, you can still travel to Russia with your visa. But like I said, if you're in the school, you have to apply to your school that you want to travel to Russia.
And you have to get like an approval,
An approval from your
them.
school,
Yeah.
before you can be able to travel. And if you're working, if you're on a work visa, you also need to get an approval from the company you're working with,
Yeah.
before you can travel to Russia. But if you hold a PR, you don't have any of these restrictions. You can just travel any day you want, anytime, and just come back. And also, if you're traveling as a foreigner, you can only use the flight. You can use flight through the airport, or you can use bus, right? I think with flight, it's just 1 hour flight from Minsk. And if you're using bus, it's around 3 to 4 hours by bus. And with flight, you can pay around, I think around, is it $50, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, around $50 for flight, just one way. But if it's 2 way, it's around $100. And if you're using bus is around 20 or $25 thereabouts.
Yeah,
for
it's
you to
pretty
get
cheap.
the ticket. So it's pretty cheap for you to travel. Okay, so
Can you talk about the
Sounds smart.
salary?
can you talk about the salary? Okay. So talking about the salary is dependent on the kind of job you're doing.
Yeah.
If you're doing a menial job, the salary is pretty low. But before I mention the salary, remember I mentioned earlier on that cost of living here is very, very
Pretty
cheap.
cheap.
Yeah, we told you initially that with as low as $100, you can feed yourself comfortably for 1 month if you're not going out on restaurants to eat and all of that. And if you want to rent an apartment, we have different kinds of apartment here. They have a hostel. If you want to stay in the hostel with as low as $70, you can get a hostel space for 1 month. And if you want a shared apartment is just an apartment with 2 or more rooms, yeah, where each person have their own room with your room key, but you just share the common areas like the kitchen, toilet, bedroom, yeah. And that kind of apartment, you can get it for as low as $100 to $150 or $200. And also, if you want to get your own apartment, like a single apartment, it's pretty cheap too, depending on your taste and the location in the city. You can get for as low as $250 to $300 or $400 or $500, depending on your taste and your budget. So salary, if you're working on menial job, yeah, you can earn from as low as $400 to $600 if you're working in a restaurant or cleaning or factories, right? I mentioned some of these kind of jobs in my videos. If you check my page, you see these videos there.
Or you can get like typical office jobs.
Yeah, you can get a typical office job. I work in an office. She was working in an office here before she traveled, right? And with those kind of jobs, you can earn from around $800 to $1,500.
1,500. But it also depends too
On the kind of job.
on the kind of job.
Yeah.
If it's an office job, if it's sales,
Yeah.
you know, a sales job, an office job. When I mean sales, you know, where you where the company sells products to different countries in Europe,
Yeah.
right? You can get that and also get commissions,
Yeah,
right?
so aside from your main salary,
Yeah, you
you're
get
also getting
commissions.
commissions per product that you sell, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of jobs. So,
And that could also be in Belarusian rubles or in euros or in dollars, whichever. Yeah.
okay. So another question is, so if I have Belarus visa, you can also move from Belarus to Russia and bus or fly. Yeah, if you have a Belarusian visa, you can travel from Belarus freely to Russia without any restriction, right? And you can use bus or you can use flight, but you cannot use the train. The train is actually the cheapest, but you cannot use the train. And the reason why you cannot use the train is because there is no border control for the train route, right? So they cannot check your passport or anything. So only citizens can use the train because they have their passport. So they can use the train. They don't have any border control to check them at the border between Russia and Belarus. But as a foreigner, they need to check your visa to check that your visa is valid or your permanent residency is valid. So you can only use bus or flight where they're going to check you at the border or at the airport. I don't know if that answers your question at Ange. Okay, so all right, babe. How about the transportation here in Belarus? Can you say anything about transportation?
It's also very cheap.
Mm.
Yeah, we have different means of transportation. Either use the bus, we call it trolley bus, and we have the afterbus too.
Yeah.
Afterbus and trolley bus. And you have the tramway,
Okay.
and we have the marshrutka,
Okay.
right? But it's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And you can get a card, what's it called, transport card.
Transport car, yeah.
Yeah, that covers for the trolley buses, tramways, and metro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it does not cover for marshrutka.
Okay.
So marshrutka, you have to pay. Yeah.
All right.
It's
so-
like the small buses, the really small buses. They run really fast. Yeah.
Okay, so and if you get this card covers all the transport systems, yeah?
Except marshrutka.
Except Marshrutka. And this card is as cheap as, is it
50 rubles?
yeah, 50 rubles per
55
month.
rubles,
So
that should
if you
be-
convert it, it's around $15. It's around $15 if you convert it, right? So it can take you throughout the month without limit. Like you can go in and out of any of this transport without limitation. So Angie asked again, is it cheaper when moving from Belarus to Russia as foreigners?
What do you mean by moving? Do
What
you
do you
mean
mean by-
relocation or going on a vacation? What exactly do you mean by moving?
Yeah, because if you're using the flight, if you're booking for just one way, it is around $50. If you're booking for a round trip going and coming, it's around $100. And if you're using the bus, going is around 20 $25.
Thank you for the likes, Sammy Smart.
Thank you for the likes, Sammy Smart. And Sammy Smart asked another question. Please, is it true that construction workers earn from $1,000 to $1,500 per month? Okay, so it is possible, but I cannot say for sure. It is dependent on the kind of construction company you're working with. But actually, construction job is a very okay.
Let's see. Same shape.
Yeah.
Da-da-da.
So they're saying that the life will end soon. So we're trying to verify so that to continue. Okay, select two objects that are the same shapes.
What the hell?
There is R, okay, and R, okay. R.
Okay.
Okay, so TikTok is just trying to carry a verification to be sure that we are still active. So we just done that. So we're back. Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, you were answering his question.
Okay, so yeah, it's dependent on the construction company you're actually working with, right? So some construction companies, and already we know that construction job is it's just kind of job, right? So it is dependent on the company you're working with, but actually construction workers earn very high. Like I said, it's a tedious job.
Of course.
Yeah, so they earn very high. So it is possible to earn within that range, but I think it should also be within around from $500 actually to around 1,000.
I think it should be a bit more because it's tedious.
Yeah, but like I said, it's dependent on the company you're working with,
Yeah,
right?
also.
Yeah, so if that answers your question at some smile. Alright, so what other thing do we want to talk about? We're speaking about the transportation system. Okay, how about what should we talk about?
Minimum wage. You
Okay,
asked minimum wage.
Okay,
Be a
my
day.
bro, what's the minimum wage?
$200.
Okay, so the minimum wage here in Belarus is $200, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that that's the amount they're going to pay.
No.
It's just like in Nigeria, where the minimum wage is 30,000 naira,
I
right?
think it's increased. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It said
heard
something about 70,000.
70,000, but I don't know if they have approved it. So, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be earning that 70,000 naira
Yeah.
or 30,000 naira. It depends on the company you're working. So they can pay you above it, but it's just that it's a cap that you must not earn. No company should pay you below that amount. Yeah, so that's that. I don't know if that answered your questions at B&B. Okay, so let's talk about nightlife in Belarus. Babe, what can you say about the nightlife?
I'm a restaurant girly.
Ah.
So I do party. I used to party.
So you stop partying. What happened?
Once in a while, once in a while, but I'm more of a restaurant girly. Like, I like fancy restaurants.
Okay, and about nightlife
You can answer that. I don't know.
nightlife here is a boom actually, and if you like clubbing, trust me, they have the best clubs here in Belarus. And if you like partying,
Well, they have African, clubs as well.
Yeah.
If you are someone like me that does not fancy techno sounds
Yeah.
or songs or whichever it is,
yeah,
they have African where they play like proper African
songs, yeah.
owned by Africans, not
Yeah.
owned by Africans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an African club here owned by a friend. The African club is called Underbar. So we go there. Oh, it's a free promotion actually. So if you want to party, there are a lot of African clubs here, and a special one where you can get African hits. So if you like nightlife here is very, very bright. Okay, is it? Okay, Mide said, is it easy to get Belarus visa from Nigeria? Okay, Mide, well, I'm a Nigerian. She's a Nigerian and Ghanaian, half Nigerian, half Ghanaian. So we both got our visas from Nigeria, and there are a lot of Nigerians here actually.
It depends on the kind of visa too you want to get.
Yeah.
Study visa.
Work visa,
or
private visit. So it depends on the kind of visa.
Tourist visa too as well.
Yeah. So fortunately for you, there is a Belarusian embassy in Nigeria, so you can easily walk into the embassy to apply for your visa, right? And if you answer the questions well, you're going to get your visa. Okay, so at B&B, my boss, what will you advise international students job? International students job. Okay. All right. So
could you expatiate further what you mean by international student job?
Yeah, I think he's trying to talk. Okay, he said what work you advise for international students to do so as to balance the work and study. It's the same person.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're studying here as an international student, you're probably going to have the language barrier, yeah? You're going to have the language barrier, so you cannot probably work in a company where they speak a lot of Russians, but you can work also in international companies like content creation or lead generation or also customer
It also
support?
sales too,
Yeah, also
depending
sales, yeah.
if they are. You have the Baltic countries such as Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia. Those are Baltic countries, which will require you to.
Help me and say we look alike. Oh,
Ah.
thank you. I won't have the same clothes. Oh my god. All right, that's great.
So yeah,
Thank you.
back
Nice
to what
have
I
you.
was
Yeah.
saying. We have Baltic countries. So if you're working in sales, we have Baltic countries such as Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Those countries might require you to speak Russian, right?
Yeah.
To communicate with them, or their language, whichever. But if you're able to secure yourself a job, you can work in the English team that speaks to, you know, other countries like Germany, Netherlands, you know, and whatnot. So
Yeah, he said, what if I learn Belarusian? Okay, he actually...
you learn Russian.
You learn Russian. Actually, the official language here is Russian, so they speak Russian here. So if you learn Russian language, then you don't have any restriction, any barrier. You can
Yeah, it helps
work
you a lot.
Yeah, but as a student, you cannot work full-time, so you can only work part-time, right? And also, they have night shift jobs here. Since you'll be going to school, if you have the strength to stay up at night to work, you can also apply to night shift jobs, right? Where you can be working so that it doesn't stop or affect your studies, right? Okay, so what other questions can we address?
You tell us.
All right, so babe, you've attended a lot of visa interviews, so
Wow.
what are some possible questions they can be asked during the visa interview? Okay, BLB, after with the Russian learning, I want to move to other countries like Germany. Is it easy?
I live in Germany now. So.
Okay, so yeah, she studied here and currently she's living in Germany. So babe, is it easy? Can you tell us the process?
Well,
Or is it difficult because Belarus are under sanctions?
No, it wasn't difficult for me. You should be concerned about why you're going to the country.
Yeah.
If you're going to Germany on a student visa, or it depends, right? It has nothing to do with Belarus. If you meet the requirements, of course you're gonna get a visa to travel.
Yeah.
Sanctions has nothing to do with getting your visa.
Visa application, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with it. So
Yeah, you should answer your questions correctly, have all your documents, and know the reason as to why you're going there. And you know, for Germany, you obviously know that you cannot travel you cannot just show the statement of account. Either use a blocked account or use a sponsorship. So you need to meet that requirement before you
So
can.
when you say blocked account or sponsorship, what do you mean? Can you especially?
Sponsorship letter, we call it letter of commitment, right?
Okay.
It means that someone in Germany, right?
Yeah.
You have a friend or a relative or someone that you talk to, invite you, and telling them they're gonna bear the cost of you living in Germany, right? So yeah, and the German, the government.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they do some scrutiny. They check you. They check if you can finance the person, if you earn a lot and whatnot, and they can, you know, when it's ready, they send you the document and you can take it to the embassy.
Okay. So what about the block account?
The block account is more like I think the amount is 12,000 euros now. You should have 12,000 euros in your blocked account. That way, when you go there, they give it to you monthly. You know, pay it back to you monthly.
For your upkeep.
Yeah, for your upkeep. I think 1,000 monthly or 900 something euros monthly. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't use the block account. I used the sponsorship. So.
Yeah. So at BRB, it is very easy to travel to other countries.
I hope I answered your questions.
Yeah, if you meet the requirements. So, Sammy Smart said the problem is how to get the job.
Jobs are not, like I said, are not easy anywhere. You have to, you know, keep trying. Even in Germany, I live in Germany. Jobs are not easy to, you know, come by. You need to also, especially if you're going to live in an European country, be it Germany, be it Belarus, be it Estonia, Belgium, whichever language is a requirement, right?
Yeah.
If you know the language, you have an edge. right? It helps you secure a job really fast.
Yeah.
But if you are just an English speaker, you have limited options, but still you still get a job.
Yeah,
regardless.
and to add to that, at Sony Smart, the last, I think 2023, I was working 3 different jobs at the same time. But the problem most people have with getting a job is
They do not have patience.
they don't have patience and also pride. Like some of them will tell you, I cannot do this kind of job, I'm too big for this kind of job. When I came here initially, I started working as a chef in a restaurant. I've never done that in Nigeria. Trust me, back home in Nigeria, I won't apply to such kind of job. And it's not that I'm too special or nothing, no, but just that there are to some levels that we have developed ourselves and some opportunities, right? I can easily navigate myself in my home country. But when I got down here, I started working as a chef in a restaurant, just to start from the scratch. You can never despise the days of your little beginning, and just start small while you grow. And in 2023, I was working 3 jobs at the same time, and I was working as an English teacher. I was promoting a cosmetic company's product, making content for them, managing their social media handles, and I was also working as an English customer support in an international company. So it's all about session. And within this period, the website rabota.by, if you put out your CV out there, you can apply to as many as 240 jobs per day, right? So that period, I was submitting 240 jobs. I would submit them to 240 applications, and they will tell me that I've reached the limit for this day. And I'll wait until tomorrow and I'll start applying again. From all these applications, you're definitely going to get an invitation, right? And you're going to get a job. So it's all about patience and lowering your pride, the ego. Just start small, and when you have something, you can grow from there actually. So that's how to do that. I don't know if that answers your questions at Semi Smart. And at BRB again, he said, so if all documents are correct and you can move to other EU countries, right? Yes, of course you can move.
You need to know the reason as to why you're moving there.
Why you're moving? Actually, her friend, also my former colleague at work, is on her way to Germany as we speak. She just got her visa recently. She moved from Belarus today, so she's on her way to Germany now. She actually used the bus, right? So she's on her way now. So if you meet the requirement, you can move, okay? But it's not advisable to move illegally. That's the problem most people have. They try to just boycott the whole process and cross border or something. It is terrible. Like, it is very, very terrible. So I won't advise that at all. So if you meet the requirements, you can move, okay? So Mikolo guy, say, hello David, you're doing well and thanks for your content. Oh, thank you so much. I am glad that you enjoy my content, and it's an encouragement to keep sharing more, okay? So thank you. And your contact number, Silvanus. Okay, Silvanus, please drop me a DM, okay? Drop me a message and I'll respond to you after the live, okay? Alright. So if you have any question, do want to drop it in the comment section. Babe, do you have any other thing to cover before we go?
I have no idea, you tell me.
Okay.
I think we've touched every area. If you have any other question, you can leave it in the...
Okay, and also the work conditions. I think I got a question about work condition.
What work condition?
Nicola, you said Ruski dealt with us.
It's dealing with me still, even after living 11 years.
Bro, Ruski is a very difficult language, trust me.
One of the most difficult languages in the world.
I'm still using translator most of the times, Yeah, okay. At BIB, so if I study the Russian language and studying nursing and want to move to Lithuania, Poland, is it possible? Is it to...
You have to look for schools in Lithuania, in Poland, and, get the admission. Like the way you got your way into Belarus.
Yeah.
you secure your admission
Admission.
in whichever country, be it Lithuania, be it Latvia, whichever, even Germany, right? And then you take that admission letter and all the documents that you have submitted to the school, and you take it to the embassy. First of all, you have to make sure that there is an available date.
Yeah.
You book an available date for your interview. Yeah. And it's just the
if you
usual.
meet all the requirements, you're going to get your visa. Okay, it's all about meeting the requirements. Okay,
Yeah.
so the work conditions in Belarus. So basically, working here in Belarus, it's not like back home where you have to, most of us want to kill ourselves, working all day, working overnight and all of that. Here, there is a regulation, right? There's a regulation where there is a number of time you can work. So basically how it works here is you work 2 days and then you have 2 days off to rest, and then you have 2 days again to work.
I think that depends on the company.
Okay.
I think that depends on the company.
Yeah, but for the two companies that have worked, those
Okay.
the requirement. And also there are some companies that you can work.
For me, I worked. Sorry.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, I worked at 3 companies, right?
Yeah.
When I was working as a project manager, I was working Mondays through Friday. Yeah.
And then you have.
And then I have Saturday and Sunday off.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it depends on the company you're working, but most of the companies, they have this time schedule where you
2
get
days off and on.
2 days on, so that you can rest maximally. Okay, so yeah, I think that's that for the work.
But if you also want to take extra shift, there's something
shift.
called extra shift. If you feel like the 2 days is not enough, right? Then you both try. If you feel like the 2 days is not enough, you can take extra days.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You can rest it. Okay.
You can work 3 days, rest 1 day.
BMV said, damn, you both try. Oh, it's not easy.
It's not easy anywhere.
It's not easy. Alright, so guys, I think we have touched most of the questions and exhausted most of your questions. We tried as much as possible to reply to your comments.
Can I work 4 days and relax? Well, depending on the company, you can't. If you're working for a company that has a 2 days, 2 nights shift, right? You can't work 4 days straight. You can only work 3 days and rest, one day rest.
Yeah.
Right? But if you are working for a company that works Mondays through Fridays, then you can work Mondays through Fridays and rest Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, but you cannot work 4 days straight if you're working in a company that have these 2 days on, 2 days off. Yeah. You cannot work. Okay. Alright, so I think we have covered a lot of questions today, and we have exhausted most of the questions. So guys, if you have any question you feel we have not touched yet, you can leave a message or just drop a comment, and we can try to talk about it in our subsequent lives, or when I have the chance I can make a video explaining these processes, and I'll post it on the page and you can get access to it. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for your questions as well, because you gave us a lot of stuff to talk about.
Question.
Okay, what's your question,
I'm
bro?
famished. He needs to make me food.
Yeah, I need to make her dinner. You need to give her a special treat. So, what's your question, bro?
No.
Okay. No, but still typing. Alright, we're waiting for your question. So, tonight I'm trying to make rice and chicken. So, I'm going to make rice and chicken for my baby so that she can eat and sleep. It is already, it's late already. It is 10:50. Oh my God.
So it's pretty late.
Yeah. So I have to make her something to eat and then get a rest, okay? Okay.
Why does
Why does the
immigration ask?
immigration ask for a return ticket if you are a student?
It's just like flying to anywhere. I think mainly you have to get
A return
a
ticket.
return ticket.
In case of
If
any,
you're going to even the US,
Yeah,
you need a return
a
ticket.
return
You can't
ticket.
apply for visa with a one-way ticket.
yeah, you have to get a return ticket.
Or you
because-
can not apply for visa. You cannot show up in the country with a one-way
Yeah,
ticket.
they are not going to board you from the airport without.
It
your
will feel
return
as though
ticket.
that you are not going back to your country.
Yeah, that's the point. So
You're trying to run away.
yeah, you're trying to run away and never return again. So the purpose of the return ticket is for any reason you have to go back to your country. You already have a booked ticket that you can easily go to the airport and board and go back home.
You can always get your money back for
Yeah.
the return ticket.
Yeah,
you
for
don't
the
have
return.
to use it.
Yeah, for the return
It's
ticket.
just a policy, I guess.
Yeah, for the return ticket, you said, but the visa is just 1 month though. Yeah,
It depends on the
Yeah.
visa that you applied for,
Yeah.
and then you can also apply for extensions.
yeah.
when
When
you're in the
I
country.
when I came here with a 1 month visa too, right? But I bought a return ticket, you know. But once you're in the country, you can apply to extend your visa for 3 months if you have a private visa, or depending on the kind of visa you have. If it's a student visa, you can extend it for 1 year, right? And get your registration. But that doesn't mean you cannot apply for a refund for your return ticket. I applied for a refund and I got a refund of my return ticket, and it was credited into
You
my
get a
account.
Belarus passport. I've lived 11 years. I haven't gotten a Belarus passport. Not like I do not want to apply.
Okay, so how long does it take to get Belarus passport? Oh, okay.
Well, you have to get a permanent residency first,
First.
PR, right? And like I said, they issue 2 years first, and then 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm on the 10 years now,
Yeah.
but I can apply to be a citizen right now.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I don't want to right now,
For
and
personal
also
reasons,
for personal
yeah.
reasons. Don't to me, I don't want to, and also maybe because you have to also you know, it's just like every other country. You undergo an exam,
Yeah.
and your Russian has to be good too. The
Yeah.
exams are
Yeah.
something.
So
But you have a permanent residency, same thing as having a
your
passport.
Yeah, so the thing is, you have to live here for at least 10 years before you can apply for citizenship after getting your PR, right? And
Yeah.
then you have to take the Russian language exam. So if you pass this exam, they can.
In Russian language or about the country? In Russian
yeah,
language.
Russian language, yeah. So you pass this exam and then they'll give you your citizenship and your passport. But the thing is,
There is no dual citizenship. You
You
have
have-
to drop
you have
your
to forfeit
country.
your,
Yeah.
your home country's passport. So if you're ready to forfeit your Nigerian or Ghanaian passport,
Hi.
if you're ready to forfeit your Nigerian or Ghanaian passport, then you
Do you
can
know
apply for it.
Wikipedia?
Okay.
How is Germany doing? I miss Germany, actually.
All right. So there's a question. What's a private visa, sir? Okay. So private visa is actually a private invitation where someone who is living in the country legally, either a citizen or someone that holds a permanent residency, sends you an invitation letter. So the person just need your passport, you know, translated into Russian, take it to the immigration center and apply for a private invitation, like a visiting. It's just a visiting visa, right? So they're going to send this invitation letter to you, and you can use it to apply for your visa. All right. So do you know Wikipedia? Many greetings from Germany. I love you. Hi, many greetings from Germany. How is Germany
From
treating you
Germany.
tonight?
I'm from Belarus. He forgot himself.
Yeah, all right. I hope Germany is doing great. Which city are you in Germany? Berlin or? Is it
He's confused.
Berlin or Frankfurt or
Hamburg,
Hamburg?
Dresden.
Yeah, Dresden. Where are you joining us from? Okay, Belarus passport goes to Russia.
Of course.
Of course, Belarus passport you can go to Russia. with
Even
an
Belarus.
registration. Oh, Frankfurt.
Hmm.
How's Frankfurt tonight? You know Wikipedia. Oh, Frankfurt is treating you great. Anyways, I took this one from you. She lives in Germany, but you know I brought her
I'm
over
here
to
for a
Germany.
while. I'm just here for a while.
She lives in Berlin, actually, Berlin, Germany. So she came to visit. Yeah. Nice to hear from you, and thanks for joining us at Dino. Okay, at BFB, does Belarus passport has power? Alright, so if you hold a Belarusian passport, first of all,
Yeah, some countries you can travel to.
Yeah.
I think you can also look it up
yeah,
on
you can look it up on Google. I think
on
there are
Google.
about 26
I don't know.
different
You have
countries.
to look it up.
Yeah, you have
just
to look
be
it up.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, 26 different countries like Georgia. You know, we have
Countries you can-
Egypt. You know, even Dubai. I think they don't need a visa to go to Dubai.
No, I don't think
Yeah,
so.
they don't need a visa to go to Dubai. So you know, there are so many countries that they can travel to with a Belarusian passport that you don't.
Do you want to get a Belarusian?
Belarusian.
Need Belarusian.
Okay, Belarusian. All right, thank you very
Belarusian
much.
passport.
Okay. Like German passport. No.
Germany passport. You can't compare.
You can't compare.
Like,
no. German passport.
Germany is the heart of Europe.
Yeah, so German passport is way
Stronger.
stronger compared to Belarusian passport.
Belarusian.
Belarusian passport.
Oh my
Alright.
God.
Okay, guys, I think we have answered
If you
all your
have no
questions.
further-
Oh my god, there's still another question.
Huh? Citizenship. You haven't even talked about PR.
So if you marry Belarusian, can you get the citizenship?
You can get a permanent residency.
You can get a permanent residency.
If you
right?
also marry someone that has a permanent residency,
Yes,
you can get a permanent
residency.
residency.
So you can apply for your permanent residency.
And afterwards,
Yeah.
after you have lived for a
For a
while,
while, you can
then,
apply for
yeah.
citizenship. Yeah. So that's how it works. Okay.
you can just straight up get
You can
it.
just straight up. You have to follow these steps. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
If you have no further questions, we'll call it a
we'll call it a
night.
night because we have to eat and you know.
Hungry.
She's hungry. I'm hungry too, and also you have to do other things. Too. Yeah.
No other things. Please.
All right, thank you guys so much. Good night at BLB. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the show of love. We love you so much. Thank you, and we'll
Thank
see
you,
you next time.
guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Paka paka. All right.